Hello again. So I'm doing a quick, kind of like an Ask Me Anything stream. It's not gonna be long. So I just looked at the preview for this stream, but it's like me making like a face. It's a little awkward looking. Hey, whatever, right? Whatever. So yeah, I want to see if anyone joins up. If not, then I might just be talking about a few random things. On a random note, I'm really excited about the Ghostbusters movie that's coming out. I mean, that's probably really obvious. There's like some Comic-Con type thing that was going on like a few days ago, like maybe last week, and they actually surprised the audience there with a screening of the movie. I was a little mad about that just because like the spoilers and stuff like that. I don't want to hear anything about it, obviously. But November's a long time. But I'm really excited about that movie. Football. Depends what now really it depends if you're using the gay word as derogatory. So I think football is cool. So yeah. I mean, I never played football, but yeah. I enjoy watching it from time to time. I don't follow it or anything, but it can be fun to follow. Man. And one thing that I related to the Ghostbusters is, you know, you have to keep this stuff within reason, I think. But football is really hype when it comes time to. I mean, I feel like it doesn't matter if you're into it or not. Around the time where like Super Bowl and whatnot is, like it does get quite hype because even if you're not really into it yourself, everyone around you is, and even being out in the store and like hearing others talk about it, and they claim like the ownership of the teams, like, oh yeah, we did so well last night, or we kicked your guys' ass, that kind of thing, you know, talking about like those kind of teams and stuff like that. That can be exciting. That's the exciting part. It brings people together. It is. I think it's a lot better to watch on TV than it is to see in person. I've actually been to football games. Like I had more of like a nosebleed section. I think it was like the Redskins I went to see, and this was years ago. But I appreciate the camera angles, the announcers, and all that stuff. Like it's so much better to watch on TV. Like so much better. Plus, at the end of the game, I imagine you cannot wait to just get out of there. You figure everyone's going to be like going for the door at once. Everyone's going to be trying to get out of there at once and like dealing with the traffic and all that other stuff. Like I've actually been back. I almost want to say like back in the day when wrestling events were actually like, I guess people go to wrestling events now, don't they? Or is it still all like, I know they display a bunch of webcams and stuff through all that, but I've been to, I think it was SmackDown that I went to before. And that, again, kind of nosebleed, you know, section kind of scenario. That was cool. It was cool. But again, still just better to watch on TV because you have all those camera angles. You have, it's not like we had a chance to meet the wrestlers or anything. At that time, though, like I was getting into it because my friends watched a lot of football. Oh my God, not football, wrestling. Watched a lot of wrestling. I was getting into that, and when I actually started watching wrestling with them, it was actually a pretty exciting time. It was actually when it was, I think it was like the Rock and Sock connection came back. So like, yeah, Cactus Jack came back. But it was just how could you not get excited about that? It was like I think one of the matches was like, so Cactus Jack is getting all, he's getting beat up by like Triple H's team. I forget what Triple H's team was called back then, but then all of a sudden you hear, if you smell, of course what the Rock's cooking. Then like the Rock runs down there, and that was really exciting. But anyway, so I've been to wrestling events too. I should say an event. I haven't been to multiple, but yeah, I still like actually watching this on TV better. So, how old are you? Currently, I'm actually 37. 37. I know, it's crazy, right? The only time I watch football is on YouTube, and it's try for the Super Bowl. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the most exciting Super Bowl for me to watch was actually the Giants versus the Patriots from years ago, because that was like one of the only seasons I actually followed the whole way through, because I really liked I'm not really dedicated to any like team or anything. So I liked Tom Brady in the essence of how he would like lasered the football as a quarterback. It was really cool to watch. Like watching Tom Brady, it's like a line drive. It's like how do they catch the ball sometimes? It's like how he throws it to them. But so they went like, it was like 18-0, something like that. And then like they go against the Giants, and it was one of those things where, they were down like a point. I forgot how many points it was, but they were down. And you're thinking like, oh, they're going to come back. It's Patriots. They're going to come back. And then it comes to like one of the final plays, and Tom Brady pulls a Hail Mary like pass. They don't make it. They lose. I'm just like, wow. Almost every person in my family likes Tom Brady. Yeah, I really just like it because like of how he throws the ball. Do I have a Tom Brady jersey in my wardrobe? No, I do not. I do not own any kind of football jerseys or anything. I own a football, but that's just for like throwing it around outside. But yeah, just but anyway, I found that to be pretty cool. Tom Brady's trash. I mean, that's actually like, I guess, not accurate at all, really, though, right, Chris? I mean, I think people probably just like really dislike him for, I mean, hell, like how many years ago was it when like who were they going against anyway? I forget who they were going against, but like they went into overtime. It was I think it was the first Super Bowl ever where like they went into overtime, and Tom Brady broke like, it was like multiple records. And just like, it was one of those things. My perception of why some people don't like him is because, okay, so whatever you're following, whether whatever sport or competition, whatever, if the same person keeps winning, it gets old. You want to see someone else like in succession. You want to see someone else, or it's just like the same. I know how that feels because, for example, when I was more into the game Mortal Kombat, excuse me, like when it's like the same person winning over and over again, it gets really, really boring, and you like don't want that person to win. So maybe that's part of it. So I asked to take a picture, and he pushed me. He pushed you? Man, what was that? When you say like, oh my gosh, that's a little rough, man. That's a little rough. I can understand that. If like, oh man, how heartbreaking would that be if like you're a big Tom Brady fan and like you actually finally got to meet him and he pushed you? Like, I'd be selling all my crap. Like if it was someone I really looked up to, that'd be like devastate you. Like if that ever happened to me, you won't know you won't know. I mean, especially if you had a lot of their stuff, you're like, I'm selling all this crap. I'm not. Yeah, that would just be like unforgivable. Usually people hate people who dominate in sports. Yeah, so it's just, I mean, good for them, but like I guess that's why I don't have, it's not like when I do watch football, which is very, very seldomly, I like to watch that kind of stuff. Quarterbacks and like line drive throws are kind of like, I like watching that. And I don't know. But yeah, I've just never been huge into it. But the main thing I feel like gets you involved is the hype of it. Like everyone else, the people that you're around, they get really into it. And hell, I remember watching football with my dad when I was a kid. And he'd be yelling at the TV, "Oh, you could have had him." It's all stuff that I didn't understand. And he followed it a little bit. I don't think he really does it anymore though. I was only a fan when I met him. Still not, but I recognized him and I asked for a picture and he pushed me and I fell. That's messed up, dude. I can understand that. I can understand you not caring for him at all because, like, yeah, I would actually kind of consider him trash in my opinion too if that happened to me. That's messed up. Don't like to watch most sports. You know what? I think the most boring sport to watch is baseball. Baseball has got to be, unless you're really, really into that stuff. Like, I think baseball is like, I don't know. I guess there's a reason that like baseball players chew on tobacco because they have nothing else better to do. I probably shouldn't say that, but like, I don't know. I find baseball, unless you're in the game, it's like really boring to watch. Usually, really boring to watch. Soccer is, I don't really watch soccer ever. I think, honestly, actually, one of my favorite sports to watch, which is very seldomly, believe it or not, is actually volleyball. I like watching volleyball because that, like, it's constant action. And especially when they're usually when they're playing that, they're like playing in like the sand or whatnot, maybe on the beach. It's been a long time since I've seen any kind of like, games like that. But like you'll have one person hit it up and then like one person just kind of like smack it down. And then the other team has to dive for it to get it. I think volleyball is really fun to watch. Football is the most common and like the most, like, I guess, like action packed once you understand it, like meaning obviously like first down through fourth down and turning the ball over, that kind of thing. Honestly, if someone really doesn't understand how football works, it's really not going to be that fun to watch. My favorite sport category is motor racing. Depending. I think NASCAR is really boring. I respect the high speeds that they're going, and I respect kind of like, I guess you call it the science of that. But yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. Champion League, World Cup, American Premier League. The fans. I'm not really sure what that's really supposed to be. Yeah, sports. It's more of European categories. I think even I don't know what other sport is like fun to watch. But let's switch it up. What was your favorite sport to play like in school? Or right now, I guess. Mine, top two, it was called mat ball. That was like kickball. Obviously, it's like baseball with like, but like with a ball. Like you have someone, pitching it, like rolling it to you, and then you have like, first, second, third base, and then you kick it, and then like as long as you don't get out, you run around the bases as much as possible. I think until like you're out, so you can keep scoring. I liked mat ball and I liked dodgeball. Dodgeball's a lot of fun, but I really like kicking the ball, especially with like those like red, like, I don't know, like gym like kickballs. They went super far. It was so nice. And dodgeball, it just sucked when like you got out right away. You know, like when you tried to catch the ball and like, oh damn. Yeah, dodgeball. It's yeah. It's cool if you're able to stay into it. It's definitely fast paced. It kind of sucks to be like the last one in though, or one of the last people in. Oh man. Yeah, I was telling after I got off, I said to Ash, I was like, oh, I was thinking to myself, oh crap, he's gonna get ready for bed, you know, school tomorrow. And I'm thinking to myself, oh wait, tomorrow's Saturday. It's first weekend from school. I don't have that luxury tomorrow. So I was doing this quick thing before I really got off for the night. Is anyone looking forward to Halloween? I am, of course. I definitely am. Tomorrow is Monday. Yeah, I have so Christopher and I were looking forward to Halloween. I'm looking forward to the new Spider-Man movie. Speaking of, I never saw the whole way through from Far From Home. So we actually watched it last night again. And I remember seeing the ending, but I didn't see like all of the other parts. So seeing the No Way Home trailer, of course, spoiled it a little bit for me. But we watched that last night. It's good. But yeah, I obviously don't want to hear any spoilers or whatever else, but like, I'm hoping that, you know, from that trailer, I'm hoping that Tobey Maguire is in it. No, probably everyone is, but I think the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it needs to make a return, and that'll be amazing. And that's one movie that I'd like to really see, you know, in theaters. I was going to say something. I forgot what it was. Oh, now I know. So, pretty unrelated. Excuse me. So there was a toy store, like a privately owned toy store that I went to, like, I'd say like probably like 10 years ago. All right. Really cool place. Again, privately owned. And I remembered where it was. I remembered like how packed this place was, meaning if you wanted to get like, you know, specifically like action figures, those types of collectibles, like since we're talking about sports and wrestling and stuff like that, I think it was mainly, you could mainly find like wrestlers there. I'm not sure if you had really a whole bunch of sports figures. You probably did. But anyway, like this place, I took Ash with me, and so it's roughly like 40 minutes from our house. So it's a small hike to get there, but it's really nice. And so we went there, and I was telling Ash about it. I was like, dude, like this place is packed. It's crammed, but in an organized way. So pretty much right when you open the door and you go in, you stop. You're just staring around, because every like inch of the wall is just like covered with like not one layer of like action figures, like or collectibles as I would like to call it, but like deep, like you have like this deep, like of like there's like 4 or 5 action figures along this peg, but like the whole wall is like covered, everything around you, from Hot Wheels to pretty much every kind of like, genre you think of, from Ghostbusters, Marvel, some, really any kind of like movies, those like Funko Pops, those types of things, DC Universe. Oh my gosh, just so much stuff. But yeah, it had been a while since I was there. So it was like, you know what? I looked up the hours and we actually went earlier this week. It was like right before I just went back to school. And it was one of those things where it's been a while since I was there. So I was like, I really hope these hours are accurate. But I was like, we'll just show up and we'll see if that's the case. It was. And sure enough, right when we walked in that door, we both just stopped. Because that you're in right now, if you're in a room, like every wall is covered, like wallpaper. You actually cannot see the wall at all. It's just figures. But obviously, impact figures just everywhere. It was really, really cool. It's a lot to take in. Of course, these figures have a little bit of a markup. Of course, he between finding them in the stores and also ordering them maybe online or whatever else. But this guy has so much stuff. We ended up getting a few things from him, but it was a really, really cool experience. It was really cool. I was glad to be back there. And the funny thing is, like, I recognized him. I remembered him, but I don't think he remembered me. I was trying to like avoid that. I don't know why. I was just because if I would have said like who I went there with and some of the history, but oh, I remember you. Like it probably would have been the case. He was cool to talk to though. He was really cool to talk to. It's one of those things where like the little details that he would say about buying and like selling some of these things, but also like the way things are packaged. These subtle details, like I was like relating to him on, and someone like that I could honestly talk to for a while on different types of things that come out. Like if you ever got, I'll just throw a sports thing out there. So McFarlane, sports with their action figures. I don't know if they probably still do it. It's something that's kind of annoying, I would think. I mean, cool when you find it, but like annoying when you are having to hunt for it. Anyway, so they have what's called a chase figure. Okay. So if you're ever at the store and you saw like a real nice, like looking like, sports figure. Okay. And if you're a collector, that sometimes they'll give that player a different, paint color on maybe a jersey, or maybe the card on the figure will be different. All those types of subtle things. So you might have one player that plays for this team, but then they have, maybe there's a chase version where he's playing in like his previous team jersey, something like that. But anyway, those types of things that like, we could talk about a lot, and it's just so many subtle details but that nowadays though, it's really difficult to find that stuff, because honestly, everywhere I feel is like kind of struggling for, I guess like the hiring. So on the other side of that, like people might have these things, but there's like no one to like actually like put it on the shelf. So if you go into a spot, there's like nothing on the shelf. And unfortunately, like right now, between honestly some supply chain things, and also people putting things on the shelf, like sometimes when you go into these places, like there's not a whole lot there. So it's actually sometimes easier to just order it online. Yeah, I used to have a lot more like action figures. It's just really, really, it's a cool thing to collect and display. With me now, of course, I'm really, really into Ghostbusters. I don't have a crap load of stuff. I have stuff from my childhood and stuff that's coming out like now. Of course, the movie that's coming out in a few months. So I have that stuff. I can actually show you one of the things that I got. Now it's like a new like obviously it's meant for kids, but since I'm like collecting this stuff, actually I had my daughter holding it the other day. It was pretty cool. But it's like the it's called a Neutrino wand. It's part of the proton pack in the Ghostbusters. I'm gonna go get it. I'll show it to you. Okay, here it is. So handle, and then this, you spin it. I don't know if you can hear that clicking or not. But yeah, it's trying to make sure I have the camera right. But yeah, it's just obviously the kids thing. And then when the proton pack comes out, this part here, that would actually it would actually fit on the side of the proton pack. So it's a cool little thing. I really enjoy it. Obviously, I'm not going around the house like, go like that. It's gonna be something I honestly I just like sit somewhere. It's just a collectible. So for me, so and of course, if Sindel wants to rock Ghostbusters stuff around Halloween, she could use this. So cool. I'm gonna put this back. I'll be right back. All right. Well, this is a big one. Oh, almost half an hour now. All right, guys. Well, nice little session. It's cool talking to you. I guess probably tomorrow. I'm not going to guarantee anything. I guess it depends how I feel because the last few days I didn't really feel like streaming at all. Plus, I was busy with some other stuff. But anyway, have a good night and talk to you soon. Okay, I'll see you.